Watch until the end. Here's why homes will sell quickly in 2024.
Last year we said that days on market will increase.
Because we
How
thought,
did yeah.
we
Again,
thought demand was going to go down a little bit because we thought
Yeah.
inventory was going to.
So if you thought inventory was going to like slightly uptick, of course we're going to think the days on market is going to, just because it's going to have a little bit of a lag.
Yeah. But by losing the inventory, we lost that as well.
Yeah. Created frenzies in a lot of ours. I mean, like, it was super competitive still.
Yeah, especially in the first
Especially in
half of the year.
spring.
Especially in the first half of the year, right? We saw a ton of seasonality in what we did. We did have some very, very heated multiple bids. We've become more experts in that type of navigation. Every year we refine and hone our skills with that even more. I actually, this past weekend, I was in, it's a little bit of a strange time to see multiple bids, but I'm still in them right now. And I feel like our skill set in them is really, really strong in terms of finding creative ways to appeal to buyers, to appeal to the seller situation, and just trying to separate yourself from the pack, which is something that we're obviously trying to do. But it's interesting to think about if our inventory wasn't so decimated, that the market dynamic would have been very different, in my opinion. Like,
super different.
We would have been 100% at the end of the day. Yeah. But no, it was one of those things that our days on market eked down ever so slightly. The overall city went down, what do we see? 5%. It was 2 days difference. Last year, it was 36 days on average overall city. This year was down to 34. So pretty much a wash on that. We saw very, very similar. The north side neighborhoods went down 1 day. There was a 1 day differential.
Okay.
Crazy.
Which it actually was low to start with.
Yes.
I mean, 28 days, like in the scheme of, I mean, again,
under 30 days is low.
What are
as an average
30 years of real estate between us too? No, 40 years.
I was going to say 40. I appreciate you making me younger than I am.
Okay, so 40 years of real estate experience between the two of us. This is I've never seen days on market below 30 days.
No.
Ever.
So the north side neighborhoods. Then meanwhile, the downtown neighborhood's going to be a little bit higher, but it still went down. It went down 14%. It was originally it was originally 61 days last year, and it went down to 52 days, which once again shows that positivity downtown.
Yeah, I mean, like even in the spring market when we had a couple of transactions down there, all of them were in multiple offers.
Certain price points for
certain price points. Yeah. And that's also the other story about kind of days on market is there are multiple stories behind it.
Yes.
There are people who were overpriced in their properties and it languished on the market. We saw that. We saw continuous price reductions, especially in the second half of the year.
And it's what we said. When we sat here a year ago and we said, if we deal with any inventory issues, for the majority of the market, there are definitely offsets of this market, but the majority of the market, because we don't have enough homes to sell people, if you are ever going to err on a pricing or a valuation, err on the more aggressive side and let the market figure it out. If there are not enough homes for people, that is always going to be the benefit to get us to where we need to get to.
Yeah. But even like examples from this year, I mean, like, remember when we listed, was it Chestnut and Wolcott on the same weekend, same price point, same everything, and literally the dynamic between the two was stark difference.
Yes. Even things that we couldn't quite put
we
our
were
finger
like,
on.
this is going to sell fast. And it didn't.
The crystal ball
it's so
was
shocking what actually took off this year.
Yeah, the crystal ball was very foggy in Q4.
Yeah, that's true.
And that was the reality is that I was in several multiple bids on several properties, and then other ones it was a struggle to get people in, even if they were, some of the markets just had some different dynamic for certain.
Yeah, we had more transactions fall apart this year, which actually probably helped increase the days on market, but it's actually interesting that it went down. I mean, like you would think.
No, it's a great point. The reality is in these markets where there's so many buyers out to buy these properties, and they're throwing pasta against the wall left and right to see what works. Yeah, they don't want to miss out on things, and it's the thing that we tell our sellers is that so much about navigating multiple bid situations is not necessarily about the highest offer. It's the most
to the transaction
committed offer who is committed to getting to the finish line. We saw a lot of stuff fall apart because somebody 3 days later goes, oh my God, I really overpaid for something. Or, oh my God, I didn't think that through.
Yeah, and then they get the inspection report back and they're like, what? I have to spend all this money now?
I waived every contingency I have.
Yep.
Yeah, there was a lot of that. In fact, it was funny. I was writing a an offer for a buyer in a multiple bid in December. It was only 3, so not as competitive, but it was one of those things that I knew our offer wasn't as competitive, but my cover letter to the agent so much relied on the fact that these guys weren't putting forward a number that they were going to
Be scared about.
rethink in 4 days or 5 days. They weren't doing all these things that they may be looking at in other offers because we had so talked through it, hoping that having a seller really kind of read through and understand, like, okay, they're putting forward what they're absolutely committed to, and maybe we have a shiny offer over here, but maybe there isn't the amount of traction with it. So
yeah, did you get it?
I didn't get that one. But
it was a good attempt.
It was a good attempt, and I have a strong suspicion that we have a lot of time. They were okay. They were okay to lose it. We weren't in a position where it made sense at all to throw a Hail Mary, but it's one that I have a inkling of an idea. It may come back to us.
Gotcha.
One of those things.
Okay.
And even the agent said it may come back to us.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So days on market, I think, will probably be around the same. I think we keep on ticking down, but I think there's going to be a year where we need to see it tick up. I think downtown will see it go down. I think the urban neighborhoods, like we talked about, I think we'll stay either flat or probably see, hopefully. I think it'll be flat.
I agree. I mean, I think realistically, as we look at it, I think that until we get enough inventory, I think there's not an ability for it to really change a ton.
Yeah.
So as long as we're dealing with this, a little bit of what we call the inventory crisis, I think that the downtown is going to, continue to move at its own. But as we talk about, even with downtown being around 60 days, that's still a fast market for our downtown market. Yeah. So if that kind of stays the same, the neighborhoods are going to be undersupplied, as we talked about. I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to say that we're going to be pretty much where we're at. Once again, the $1,000,000 question is how the election impacts it at the end of the year.
We do not need more rentals.
No.
What we need is aldermen to say, look, if you're building in my zone, we need more, we don't need more luxury condos or luxury apartments. We need either affordable housing on the lower end, or B, more condos, and not ultra luxury condos.
Right.
It's
the hardest part, and I've talked to enough developers about this. The hardest part is that the profit margins are non-existent right now between interest rates, the cost of land, the cost of labor, the cost of supplies. Developers don't have enough incentive. So basically what the city needs to create some taxing advantages for our developers so that they can find their profit margins in other areas so that they can put more inventory back in our product. Our lack of new construction over the last few years is really playing against us in certain markets. And I agree with you. It's not, we have a ton of luxury right now, but we need some just normal condos.
Yeah.